Hello, I'm Edina, and this presentation is about my assumptions on how culture and environment influences childhood. The United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child defines child as all those under the age of 18 years. The article The Watercress Girl portrayed how an 8-year-old worked long hours to help support her family, contrasting with the law's definition of child. I see childhood as a building block, an opportunity a child needs to explore and learn from others and the environment, where time and culture plays a significant role in the way society are shaped, and what is a normal childhood also differs in time and culture and impacts the way childhood is viewed. My assumptions are well illustrated and supported by ecological system theory. It explains how culture and environment influence childhood. Perhaps acceptable parenting and child behavior is different based on different cultures. Reflecting on my experience, for example, when I moved to the US from Brazil, my youngest child was 9 years old. I got a job at a breakfast restaurant and my schedule was 8 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. I was able to drop my son at school, but his class finished at 2:30 and he walked home. When living in Brazil, he walked to and from school since age 7, what was a normal thing to do. One day, I received a call from the school letting me know that in the US, a 9-year-old is not allowed to walk home by himself. When talking to my son that he was not allowed to walk home by himself anymore, he was very upset. He argues that he knew not to cross on the red light, that he always walked home from school, that there was no reason for me to mistrust him. I explained to him that was not his fault, or the fact that he was not doing the right things, or myself not trusting him, but about laws that were in place in the US to protect children from being hurt. Things got better, but it took a good 6 months for adaptation. Learning the language, being able to make friends. We also found a Brazilian church that we attended every Sunday. All the connections and support made the US feels like home for the both of us. According to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, children should have a loving, safe, and nurturing environment to grow up. Children should not be neglected or abused. I argue that even though the rights of the child exist in an official document, it contrasts with the reality of children inequality of rights, making childhood not as memorable as many of us desire it to be. I want to conclude this presentation with a famous quote from Martin Luther King. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Thank you for listening. During this presentation, I reflect on readings from The Watercress Girl, Introduction to Child and Childhood, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, Ecological System Theory, and my own experience to support my assumptions on how culture and environment influences childhood.